Hello everyone, and welcome back to 365 Days for the Elderly. Today we're sharing a story that doesn't often get talked about enough. The journey of Sarah and her quiet battle with HPV. What she faced, how she coped, and how she eventually found joy and balance again. Stay with us until the end of the video to hear the full story. Story: A Letter from the Body. Sarah Dawson, 34, is a graphic designer living in Portland, Oregon, a city known for its creativity and freedom, much like Sarah herself. Independent and strong-willed, Sarah believed she had life under control, from her work and relationships to her health. She ate reasonably, practiced yoga on weekends, and assumed that was enough. But like millions of women around the world, Sarah didn't realize that her body could still be quietly carrying something. No warning signs, no loud symptoms, yet capable of great impact: HPV, human papillomavirus. Her story began one February morning when she got a reminder email from her OB/GYN clinic. It had been 2 years since her last checkup. She nearly ignored it. "I feel fine. There's probably nothing wrong," she thought, scrolling past the message. But for some reason, this time she clicked confirm. A few weeks later, sitting in the stark white exam room, the doctor looked at her gently while holding the test results. "Sarah, you've tested positive for HPV. Don't panic, but we do need to talk." Her heart stopped for a moment. The first feeling was shame, then confusion, then fear, and finally, frustration with herself. How could this happen? She never lived recklessly, like the stigma often suggests. So why? The doctor explained that HPV is the most common sexually transmitted virus. Over 80% of women will contract it at least once in their lifetime. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's harmless. If left unmanaged, HPV can quietly develop into precancerous changes, especially in the cervix. Walking out of the clinic that day, Sarah wasn't the same. She felt a strange emptiness, not in her body, but in her sense of control. She didn't tell her friends, she didn't know who to talk to, and she found herself trapped in a swirl of heavy questions. Am I at risk of cervical cancer? Should I even be dating anyone anymore? Will this virus ever go away? She began losing sleep. Anxiety crept in, and loneliness hit hardest in the quiet of the night. But in that darkness, Sarah made a decision. She would not let fear define her. She started reading, watching medical documentaries, and joining women's health forums. And one night, she stumbled across something called the Missing Piece, a holistic support system designed to help women manage HPV in a scientific, empowering, and natural way. Symptoms: when the body speaks in silence. What shocked Sarah the most after her diagnosis wasn't the name HPV, it was the fact that she hadn't felt anything was wrong. No pain, no fever, no obvious symptoms, just a bit of fatigue, which she had always chalked up to work. Some mild discomfort during her period, but what woman doesn't go through that? Sarah used to think illness would announce itself with loud, clear signs, like a knock on the door you can't ignore. But with HPV, it was different. It was like an uninvited guest who had quietly moved in and waited silently for the right moment to reveal itself. A week after receiving the news, she started to notice a few subtle, unsettling changes. A dull, persistent ache in her lower back, which she thought was from sitting at her desk too long. A strange discomfort during intimacy, something she had never felt before. A slight shift in her discharge, in both color and scent, that finally made her feel something wasn't quite right. These symptoms didn't happen every day. But deep down, Sarah knew her body was trying to tell her something. So she started writing it all down. Every small shift, every little signal. Not out of fear, but because for the first time in her life, she was learning how to truly listen to her body. She learned that many women with HPV show no symptoms at all, and only discover it through a routine pap smear or HPV screening. But when the virus develops or starts causing precancerous changes, the body may respond with signs like bleeding between periods, pelvic pain, unusual vaginal discharge, genital warts in certain HPV strains. For Sarah, the hardest part wasn't the diagnosis, it was the loss of trust in her own body. She had always taken pride in being healthy, but now she understood something deeper. Health isn't just the absence of pain. It's about being proactive, informed, and connected to what your body is quietly trying to say. And from that moment on, Sarah knew she needed to take action, not just to manage the virus, but to rebuild that sacred bond with her own body. Supportive product. When hope has a name, Papillex. After countless nights scrolling through health forums and reading every scientific article she could find, Sarah stumbled across a comment that stopped her in her tracks. "There's no cure for HPV, but you can help your body fight it. I used Papillex, and it changed everything." The name Papillex kept popping up again and again in her search for answers. Not as some magical fix, but as a companion. A natural support system designed to strengthen immunity and give the body what it needs to restore balance against HPV. Sarah had grown tired of waking up each day with anxiety, wondering if the virus was silently progressing inside her. She needed to do something. But not something rushed or risky, something grounded, natural, and sustainable. And that's when she chose Papillex. Papillex isn't a medication. It's a natural supplement developed specifically for people living with HPV. Its formula focuses on 3 essential pillars. 1. Strengthening the immune system, using nutrients shown to support the body in keeping viruses in check. 2. Reducing inflammation, since inflammation can accelerate cellular damage and disease progression. 3. Promoting healthy cell regeneration, helping the body repair and renew itself from within. Sarah began to recognize the ingredients listed: vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, broccoli sprout extract, green tea extract, and most notably folate, a vital form of B9 that plays a key role in cellular health, especially in women. Papillex didn't promise miracles. It didn't make bold claims or offer false hope. It didn't say, "I'll get rid of your HPV." It said, "I'll help you become strong enough for your body to do what it's meant to do." And for Sarah, that was enough. Not magic, but a real plan, backed by science, rooted in nature, and filled with hope. Results after using Papillex. When the body and mind healed together, Sarah began using Papillex as part of her recovery plan. Every morning after taking the first capsule, she reminded herself, "This isn't just a supplement, it's my promise to myself." Nothing changed overnight, and she didn't expect it to. But after just a few weeks, Sarah began to feel very real transformations, not only in her body but also in her heart and mind. The first month, she started feeling more energized in the mornings. The dull back pain that had lingered was less frequent. Her mood became more stable and positive, as if her body was being recharged from within. Sarah combined Papillex with a diet rich in greens, fresh fruits, and foods high in zinc and folate, as recommended in the program. She also cut down on alcohol, refined sugar, and started to love her body more by resting and meditating every evening. The third month, her health indicators began to show clear improvements. Her most recent Pap smear results revealed no abnormal cells, a positive sign that brought Sarah to tears when she read the results in her car. Though the doctor advised that HPV should still be monitored long-term, she knew she was on the right path. The most important thing wasn't the numbers or the medical signs. It was the feeling that, for the first time in months, Sarah felt like she was truly in control of her body again. She no longer woke up with an undefined fear. She felt reconnected with herself, strong, gentle, and awake. And she knew no one could take that inner strength from her again. Lesson learned: when health becomes the voice of self-respect. Looking back on the past months, Sarah no longer feels fear when thinking about HPV. She no longer sees it as a mistake or something to be ashamed of. Instead, she views it as a wake-up call, something that shook her out of a seemingly healthy routine, which in reality had been neglecting her own well-being. What she learned was this: not all illnesses wear a fierce face. Some arrive quietly, and you only recognize them when it's too late, if you don't listen to your body from the start. Health isn't a matter of luck. It comes from the choices you make every day, what you put into your body, how you sleep, how you treat yourself, whether with love or punishment. HPV doesn't define you. It doesn't make you weak, it doesn't diminish your worth, and it doesn't take away your beauty or your right to be loved. It's just a part of the journey, not the end point. And most importantly, Papillex isn't a miracle cure. It's a companion. It's Sarah, and women like her, who heal themselves through proactivity, understanding, and resilience. Today, Sarah isn't just healthier. She's more mindful. She loves her body in a better way, and she shares her story with other women as a gentle reminder. You're not alone. You're not weak. Start with one small step, one Papillex pill, one health checkup, one hug for yourself. Sometimes, healing doesn't begin with medicine. It begins with forgiveness. So, no matter your age, especially for women over 30, Take care of both your mental and physical health, because that's the key to a healthy and happy life. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more stories and tips to improve the well-being of our senior community.